Good afternoon, heathens. How are you doing today? It's a very nice and sunny afternoon here in Cape Town. Today, I want to quickly talk about six of the top six, the top worst reasons that people can give for believing in a God. And I've actually given this a bit of thought, and it's very strange how beyond the list, this is the most prominent six that you will get. But beyond this, you go off into the reeds. Then you get into the, when these guys don't work, then usually they run into either philosophabble or presuppositionalism or some other eccentric proof. So I always insist, start with your best one. The best one that you have, start with that one. So let's jump into it. Reason number one: I hear the voice of God. He speaks to me personally. Well, I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy that you've got a friend that speaks to you in your mind, but what most of us call that is a conscience. There's no evidence that this voice is from outside of yourself. We should always look for a natural explanation to things. Hearing a voice that feels bigger than you can feel supernatural and also super personal, right? But it's kind of like when you're debating whether you should eat the last slice of pizza and a voice goes, "Do it, treat yourself." It's coming from inside of you based on your thoughts and feelings. It's cool to think about. But on a serious note, the claim of hearing a deity's voice is a very deeply subjective type of experience, and it's often cited as evidence for divine existence. However, the counter argument emphasizes the necessity for objective evidence beyond personal experience. So psychological studies suggest that an internal factors such as your cultural background, your psychological state, your personal expectations, all of these things influence the type of voices that you hear in your ear. I mean, we all have an inner monologue going 24/7. Okay, a correction. There are people who don't have an inner monologue. I don't know who you are or where you come from, but they do exist. Right. Then reason number two: my holy book tells me that God exists. Again, I'm very happy for you that you have a holy book that gives you joy and peace, but that's not enough for me. Holy books are written by people. They help us to reflect on human nature, but they aren't truth manuals. And picking one book over another, that's a very tough call. So imagine you've got a shelf full of books from every adventure and era telling epic tales. They're awesome for game nights and deep chats, but claiming that any of them has the ultimate guide to the universe, I mean, I'd rather go for something with a bit more substance than a holy book. And again, it's like choosing the best pizza topping. It's totally a personal choice, and there's a lot to pick from. The reverence for holy texts as the infallible word of the man in the cloud forms a core part of many religious beliefs. However, atheists point to the human origin of these texts, noting all the historical inconsistencies, contradictions, revisions, and all of this suggests that they are a product of human culture and history rather than divine dictation. This perspective argues that while such texts can offer valuable insights into ethics, history, and human nature, their claims must be critically examined. The presence of multiple holy books across various regions, each with its own claims to truth and often conflicting with one another and within itself, further undermines the argument that any one book could serve as a conclusive evidence of a God's existence. Reason number three: my parents told me God exists and I believe them. Well, again, I'm very happy for you. We learn from other people, but hey, people have been wrong about a lot of stuff a lot of the time. Independent, critical thinking is far superior than lessons from perceived authorities. Remember when you believed in the tooth fairy because, well, your mom and dad said so. When you start putting the pieces together for yourself, it's the belief crumbles. And it's the same with religious beliefs. Love and respect to everybody in our family, but exploring beliefs on your own is like leveling up in real life. Trusting your parents or authoritative figures is a natural part of the human development, but the transition to critical thinking and independent judgment is crucial for you to grow your intellect. The counter argument here highlights the importance of questioning beliefs inherited from others, especially in the absence of empirical evidence. While respecting and learning from elders is valuable, individuals are encouraged to seek their own answers and evidence, recognizing that well-intentioned people can be mistaken or hold beliefs influenced by tradition rather than truth. Amen, sister. The thing is, I was also reflecting on this earlier. People don't teach children about religion in malice. They don't do it with malicious intent. It's a cultural and a traditional aspect to our society, and people mean well by doing this. They really have your best interest at heart. But when you break free from that, a lot of people sometimes turn resentful. I'm reflecting on my own journey. I was extremely resentful about my religious upbringing, and then after a while, I think it's just with a little bit of compassion and insight, I realized people try to do the best that they can, and it's okay. It's okay to be mad at them. Right, reason number 4. A lot of people believe in God, so he must exist. Well, just because many people believe in something doesn't make it true. History is full of beliefs that got updated with new info. Plus, so many different beliefs out there. What are the odds? Imagine if everybody decided that pineapple on pizza was the best topping. Does that make it true? No, it doesn't. It's an empirical fact that pineapple does not belong on pizza. But so many different takes on the big questions of life. It seems like a cosmic potluck. There's lots of dishes to choose from on the table, and not everybody is going to like the same pizza. So this is what we know as the appeal to popularity fallacy, and it falls short as a logical argument for deity's existence, because history is full of examples of widely held beliefs that were later disproved with the advancement of knowledge. So the counter argument to this stresses that the distinction between consensus and fact exists. The truth of a claim is not determined by how popular it is, but by empirical evidence and logical reasoning. The diversity of religious beliefs, each with its own set of followers, further complicates the claim that majority belief lends credibility to a single religious truth. And that's an evolutionary remnant, because we feel safe when we are in groups, and people who existed in groups tended to survive. So it's actually evolved into us to have this mentality of wanting to conform. And sometimes they've even done studies on this, where they put, for example, like 10 people into a room, and then they tell 6 people in the room to hold an absurd belief, a completely absurd belief, something that is obviously false. And then they go and they question them one by one. And when they get to number 5, you can see the other 4 people who are not in on this becoming very, very uncomfortable. And then eventually, when they get to number 7, 8, 9, and 10, these people, they comply. They know for a fact that this is not true, but still they will definitely go and fall in with the crowd. And it's the same thing with religion. Right, reason number 5. I have faith that God exists. Well, again, I'm very happy for you, but faith alone isn't a strong enough reason to believe. Wishing that something is true does not make it true. I have faith that I can fly. Does that mean I can go jump off the roof? Of course not. Um, you know, you can really tell that you want, you say, for example, I have this belief that I will win the lottery if I buy a ticket, and I believe it. That hope feels good, but it's not the same as having the winning numbers. Faith is a very powerful and personal motivator, but when it comes to what's real in the world around us, it's all about what we can see, touch, and prove. Empiricism will always beat out faith, hands down, every time. So faith, while it's a powerful and personal motivator, it's recognized, as insufficient for establishing the truth when it comes to God's, because faith is belief in the absence of evidence. And while it may provide comfort or a sense of purpose, it does not constitute proof. I mean, I can have faith that the flying unicorn and the teapot around Jupiter's third moon, every time that there's an eclipse, lines up with an astrological event that will give me superpowers to lift a house. I can have faith that that's true, but it's not true. You get what I'm going at. You can believe anything on faith, and that alone should prove to you that it's not a reliable way to arrive at truth. If I can believe anything I want to, what's to say that anything that I believe is true? We have to test things for empirical accuracy and correspondence with the world. Reason number 6, this is the favorite. There are too many things that we just can't explain without a God. And it's also known as the God of the gaps. So just because we don't have all the answers now does not mean that we won't ever find them. So science keeps unlocking mysteries. Let's not jump to supernatural without giving discovery a chance. This is the thing is, it's like speaking to creationists. It's like, who made the world? God did it. Who made the stars and the moons and the planets? God did it. How about cancer? That's the devil's department. Right. So think about all the things that we didn't understand back in the day, like why the sky is blue or why pizza tastes so amazing. So over time, we figured it out. Even the pizza mystery. We understand how your taste buds and fragrances and everything works. But jumping to supernatural explanations, it's like throwing in the towel before the game's even done. Who knows what cool stuff we'll learn next. Proposing a deity as an explanation for the unknown is referred to as God of the gaps, or the argument from ignorance. The counter argument here is that this approach has historically diminished as scientific understanding of the world has advanced, explaining phenomena once attributed to divine intervention. We can emphasize the importance of seeking natural explanations and the willingness to accept I don't know as a starting point for investigation, rather than throwing your hands up and going, well, we don't know, God did it. Done, there we go, finishing class. This perspective values progress of knowledge and the capacity of human inquiry to unveil the mysteries of the universe over time, thereby reducing the gaps where a God might be posited as an explanation. It's their favorite game, I don't, well, do you know how the universe got started? Do you? You don't? Well, God did it. That sounds real. I mean, please. Well, that's it from me. I'm not going to belabor the point. Just suffice to say, we have been a bit slow on getting guests. I've been reaching out to so many people. They can't make it this weekend, then they can make it next weekend, and then, so we're having a bit of scheduling to and fro. But I do believe that we have a panel of ladies lined up. We have got friend of the channel, our friend the Afro-atheist now, I beg your pardon. She's going to be joining us, and I'm not going to spoil it on the other guests, but we have 2 other guests as well lined up. So do check in with us again. I am going to schedule that stream earlier in the week, just so that you guys can have it on your calendars. And join us next Sunday, because it is going to be a very interesting and thought-provoking discussion between that group of ladies. Guys, remember, go out and sin, because if you don't sin, Jesus died for nothing. See you next time.